I don't think, first of all, I hate using championships to measure individual greatness. It's a team accomplishment. Which is why in the Michael Jordan versus whoever GOAT conversation, you will never hear me say
never
6
bring
in
it
the
up.
finals.
You
will
don't
never
bring up
you
six
never hear
in
me
them.
bring up the number 6. Exactly. I'm also, though, one of these people who prides myself on not being so dug in on his opinions that my mind can't be changed. And I've always feared a day where I had to reevaluate everything I knew to be true. But I've always tried to leave open that possibility. And
Take your time.
How would I approach
Take your
that day
time.
if it came? So here's what. So we talked about this kind of sort of when LeBron became the all-time scoring leader this season. It's like, well, we knew he was going to be the all-time scoring leader. We knew he could score. We knew it was the second best thing that he did. You know, it wasn't his preferred basketball play. He loved to pass more than he loved to score. So that shouldn't have changed the conversation for anybody. But here's what I'm getting at. Lakers, Grizzlies, there's a lot of people, yours truly included, who like the Lakers in this series. There's a lot of people who think these Lakers who started 2-10, these Lakers who were at the bottom of the Western Conference standings, these Lakers who had the Russell Westbrook, aforementioned Russell Westbrook albatross, these Lakers who kind of found themselves even in LeBron's absence for much of the second half of the season. These Lakers who have the best record in the Western Conference since the trade deadline. Let me just get to the point. What if LeBron goes on a run? Because he's not just along for the ride. He ain't Bill Walton waving a towel. Like, what if LeBron drives the Lakers to the finals out of the Western Conference? Damn, what if, let's go a step farther. What if LeBron actually finds a way to add a 5th title to his resume? Because there's some people who will be like, hey, y'all skip over Kobe all the time. Y'all skip over Magic, and I'm coming back to Magic in a second, because there's another name I want to get to in this GOAT talk. But it's like, what if LeBron ends up with a 5th? Because most people look at the bubble championship and they assign an asterisk to it if they give him credit for it at all, quite honestly.
Ridiculous. It counts.
What if the Lakers come out of the West? What if he wins a championship at 38 years old? He's already still one of the best players in the league at damn near 40. What if he adds another championship? What will people like me do?
Right.
What is we gonna do? Do I have to look at him differently? Do I have to look at? Do I have to? I mean, he's already in the conversation for greatest of all time. Ain't much higher he could go. But if he adds a 5th ring to his resume, because resumes do matter. To me, championships don't define players, but resumes do matter. And I'm sorry, rings are a great separator. If this dude, and again, we're a long way from this, but if this dude gets past the Grizzlies and then gets past the Warriors, sorry, Kings, but the Warriors.
I know. It's so funny. I love this. I love it. I love this conversation.
And KD and the Suns, if they're in the conference finals, I mean, and then Giannis. I mean, I'm just letting my imagination run wild here. So I'll stop.
You are, and I like that. No, I like it. I like your imagination running wild. I think it's funny that I think both teams are gonna lose in the first round. The Lakers gonna lose to the Grizzlies. The Dubs gonna lose to the Kings. But anyway, I like the exercise because I like the thought.
Okay.
I've been there.
Well, wait. All right. Well, wait a second. Since you got ahead of me getting ahead of ourselves. I'll say one more thing, then give it back, and I promise you just one more thing.
Go ahead.
Let's just combine them then, because the other person who's had a title on lock. So there's greatest player, and this guy doesn't get mentioned enough when it comes to greatest player. But when you get more specific and go greatest point guard, it's always been Magic Johnson as long as I can remember. What if Steph gets a 5th ring? Because you and I were among the first to stop qualifying Steph Curry as, he's the GOAT shooter. No, he's one of the greatest players. Greatest point guard, I don't think conventional wisdom has him surpassing Magic. But what if he matches Magic's 5 with the way he's redefined the position? So okay, go ahead. Take LeBron and Steph. And run with both of those possibilities. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you this. One, I'm gonna go all the way back to let's go back to the beginning, as James Brown used to say. Let's go back to the beginning, way back there. Okay, Fred, let's go back. So you said you didn't know if I was telling the truth, if I was trolling you, or something like that about
because you always laugh. You always do that cackle after you say it. Yeah,
I do.
I do.
And I start off trolling. it's very astute on your part. I started off trolling you, but I actually believe it. If I have to say who's the greatest player of all time, just you got to name one person without any kind of qualifications. Greatest player of all time to me is LeBron James. Now, I've done this. That's the second time I've done this in my life. These are very, very risky moves. These are risky emotional moves where you have a place reserved for somebody and you don't think it's going to change. And then circumstances happen and they force you to move your previous sacred person out of their sacred spot and replace them. So I did that once before. Joe Montana had the quarterback spot. He had it locked down.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, he did.
I had Joe Montana. Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Joe Montana's my guy.
Yep.
Hey, what about the numbers?
Yeah.
I don't care about the numbers. What about this? I don't care what you say. Joe Montana is the model for what I want at the quarterback spot. And then Tom Brady came along.
He was the guy. Yeah.
And then I had to switch. Yeah. I never thought it would happen. Jordan. You know how I feel about Jordan. This ain't no colorism thing, Mike. Don't start talking about colorism on a Friday. But it's part of the story. It's part of it. Anyway, so I had Jordan there. And I had to move Jordan out for the Akron Hammer, the king, that kid from Akron, LeBron. And Magic Johnson is my number one point guard. Don't even think about moving Magic out. And even if Steph wins a championship and finals MVP, his second MVP, second straight, nah, man. I just say, like, Steph is tremendous, but Magic at point guard, that's the way the game that's how it's supposed to look. That's what you're supposed to.
I think so. The very thing that you accuse me of when it comes to Michael Jordan, because you always point out the fact that I got a shit ton of Jordans in my closet. And I wear Jordan jogging pants every day.
You wearing what you got on? What you got on now?
Socks. I got on socks. I got socks. No holes in them, I don't think. Just some old raggedy black Nike socks, though. But no, I mean.
That's not okay. Nike socks.
Sarah,
that's a Nike.
Nothing pisses my.
That's a Jordan.
Sidebar. Nothing pisses my wife off more than when I walk past the front door in my shoes. You know what? We no marriage counseling, no trial separation. I'm getting effing divorced if my wife caught me walking around in Jordans. Okay, so sidebar. I ain't never got my shoes on in the house. Yeah, she hates that. She's like, you're bringing everything from the street and the world into my house. Take your shoes off at my door, okay?
It's so funny. Okay, sidebar to your sidebar.
Sidebar to my sidebar,
Sidebar to your sidebar then she's just being polite to me when I come and I say, hey, you want me to take my shoes off? And she goes,
that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Take your shoes.
But she mopping the floor. She mopping the floor as soon as you leave, or having me mop the floor, as it were.
Good to know.
So, but the same thing that I do, the same thing that you accuse me of doing when it comes to Michael Jordan, you and other people like you who are older than me. I think there's a Venn diagram, but the people who are older than me by about a decade, okay,
by 9 years,
who look at Magic Johnson as untouchable, as the prototype. Why can't Steph be the prototype? Why okay, Steph isn't 6'9", okay, and Steph is an amazing passer,
Keep
but
saying
it's
all
not
the
the
things
passer that Magic was.
I want you to answer. I want you to answer. I want you to keep saying all the things that Steph is not, that Magic was, and then you have your answer.
There are things. Wait a minute.
Okay.
There are things.
He's not 6'9".
There are things.
He can't play five positions.
He can't play center. Okay, he can't play center. He's not putting up triple doubles. But aside from that, there are things. There are things that Steph Curry could do that Magic couldn't do in his sleep or in his dreams. I beg your pardon. There are ways that Steph Curry has changed the game in his own right. Certainly built on the shoulders of Magic and Michael, but I don't think Steph Curry takes a backseat to anybody when it comes to impact on the game or impact on winning. So I'm saying, I think just like some of us need to let go of our Jordan nostalgia when it comes specifically to point guard or just these all-time greatest players lists, if Steph were to, even if he doesn't, if he were to add to his resume and his legacy with another ring, I think that's a fair conversation to have. I'm getting, again, way ahead of ourselves. We're talking about the freaking 6 and 7 seeds right now. But I mean, the Western Conference feels that way.
But you can't do that, though. You can't say you don't count championships and then say,
I'm saying it's not the end all be all. No, okay, I'm glad you called. Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth or my neck. Shout out to Cameo. No, I'm saying championships aren't the end all be all for me. I'm not saying they don't come into the conversation, but they're not a mic drop for me. They're not a mic drop. They're not like, it's the only argument I need, Sean. Like, that's not what it is for me. Now, if LeBron at this age, in this conference, in this league, in this economy, okay, comes up with a 5th championship on this team, if Steph, after this season, at this seed, at this age, in this conference, in this league, in this economy, comes up with a 5th ring, I just think we might have to, like we always do, which is the beauty of this time of year, start to re-examine legacies and reconsider legacies.
It's good.
That's what's so fun about it.
It's like the beginning. It's like the beginning of the school year. It's like September all over again. Okay, here's a new. What do we think going into this year? What will change? What will stay the same? What will change? So you're saying if Steph Curry is not the one, he might be the prototype. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that about Steph?
If not, you are the prototype, my 2nd greatest MC of all time. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.